Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey and your daily pop-up positivity. I refound one of my favorite decks that I only think I used once or twice, and it's so beautiful, and I love the messages it conveys, and I love the art in this because he's one of my favorite artists. He's an absolute gem. Paolo Barbieri. He is so wonderful. He's an Italian artist and he's an absolute genius, and I love all his decks, his calendars. I have one I'm looking at right now that's on my refrigerator, and I just loved like how he infused feeling and texture and all of that into his cards. So let's see what some of our messages are today. We have It's Not a Street Lamp, clarity. Number 2 is Not a Mermaid, daring, and Not a Tree, roots. And what this, I love how everything is like, oh, so natural and wonderful. You know, I had these certain insights this morning. As soon as I woke up, it was like a hustle and bustle of work quite swiftly. I had some clients that were in distress and they needed some answers. And I was really happy because I woke up excited. I was excited to get my decks, to tap into it. And the energy just started to flow really beautifully. And I was reminded something we all need to say and hear every single day with us. You know, we have to realize that we all have this beautiful inner light that we can switch on by surrounding ourselves with other people that are exceptional and wonderful and loving, and with things that we cherish, skill sets, creativity, beauty, and love. And that, you know, when we wake up with gratitude for, you know, people, family members, things, the life we've created, our animals. Like, I always kvetch about the things that I love to do the most. It's so weird. Like, I woke up, I'm like, oh my gosh, every food dish was empty for every pet in every room and everything going on and outside. And I get anxiety about that. That's actually what gets me out of bed first thing. Like, I'm like, oh, Moonbeams isn't going to have any food outside. Baby isn't going to have any food in her room. Because they just gobble. They are like gobble monsters. I don't know how they eat. I don't know how cats do this, but also the dishes I leave up for the cats. The birds and the crows also eat. Sometimes the turkeys. Every once in a while there's a possum, raccoons. I just feel like it is Farmer in the Dallop in this house, and everybody's munching everything. But right away, I wake up with clarity and purpose. Like, I need to feed these beasts. I love them, and you know, they're my fantastical beasts, and I'm going to feed them. And I start to feel immediately good. And then I love to also feel purposeful. I really like to have an agenda. So oftentimes the night before I go to bed, I'll put 3 things down that are important for me to do. And I was so proud of myself yesterday because the sun was really beating down and it was hot. But I promised myself I was going to bring out almost every deck that I could see that was not in order and mixed with other decks. Because what I do is I use a lot of decks sometimes in private reads, so I mix the cards up at the end and put them in a basket and go, I'll get back to that. I literally had like 6 different baskets with like 50 different decks all mixed together. So I said, I'm going to bring them outside and separate them all. And I did that. And I knew it was going to be a harrowing experience because it's one of those things where I love those in order and I like them to have their respective place. So I was like, you can do this and you'll feel great afterwards. And I did exactly that. I planned it and I did it. So having that follow through felt really good. And I feel like that's what you're going to be able to do for yourself. Have clarity, you know, feel that kind of inner child that's free and open to explore, that part of you that likes to have fun, but can also sit back and say, okay, as a responsible adult, teenager, whatever, I can delegate a time to stay organized. So I'm going to infuse my day also with productivity. I feel like we work best when we have a little work, a little reward, a little work, a little reward. I mean, comment down below. How good do you feel when you watch 10 Netflix shows in a row and you do nothing else but that? You don't even really enjoy them, right? Because you kind of get like a slug and you're just sitting completely still. I remember once getting so excited about the show. I only watched like 3 or 4 in a row, but it was like 3 or 4 hours. And I felt like because I wasn't moving or doing some of the things that I had planned, it was like even while I was doing that, I wasn't even really enjoying them because I had guilt. So I feel like when we infuse our day with doing a little something that benefits us, it could be whatever, a little, you know, doing your nails that's hygienic, cleaning your house a little bit, talking to somebody, then having these little rewards, we feel good. And it also helps our mind because we're paying attention to that present moment awareness. I feel good when I do something that's good for me. And I also have the gift of rewarding myself, whatever it is, a little gift from Amazon, talking to somebody you love, making a good meal, all of that. Now, this is going to be an extraordinarily cool, daring phase for you. For whatever reason, I feel like May and June are going to be like everybody busting out of that cocoon and going into butterfly. You know, no, this is your metamorphosis where you're realizing nobody else is living your life, so you're not going to live your life for anybody else. You're not going to say yes to schools and go in the direction that people want for you. You don't care what people want for you, because really they just want it. It's a projection of what they want for themselves. What do they want to tell their friends and family you've accomplished? Basically, it's a control issue too. I feel like anybody that wants to tell their child or relative or friend, you should do this for a living, you should go here for a living, they're not taking into account what that person wants. Like, why would you want to? That's so disempowering, and it's really kind of like it's a control freak that does that. You really need to do this, especially if that person is speaking up. If you've said, oh, I really don't like that kind of I don't like that kind of vocation for myself, and people are like, no, you'll love it. Who are they to tell you? And why would you say yes to trying to fulfill other people's dreams for you? You might now is a time you are no longer doing that, and you're saying, listen, I really love this. I need to speak up for myself. This is going to be my life. It is going to be decades I'm going to be working in this field, or it's going to be years I'm at this school, or it's going to be my life with this individual, especially planned marriages, things like that. And is it important to you what I think or feel about my life in the direction that's going? Because this is what I think and what I'm going to do. And I know that some people think because their parents or relatives or grandparents may foot the bill for school, for travel, for weddings, that they have to abide by their wishes. But we really are not put here to live by other people's agendas or blueprints for us. And you are not going to anymore. And you are truly going to say no when you want to say no. You're not going to obligate yourself to other people. You're not going to be a yes person. I love this. And you're going to have daring, and you're going to embark on this beautiful, special life that you're meant. And I feel like you're constantly going to, I have to do this when I wake up too. I feed my mind with new ideas and expand my knowledge level every day. It's something that's very important to me, because I know I'm highly teachable, and I'm never going to know everything that I want to know. I want to know everything, basically about everything, unless it has to do with physics or numbers, because I could care less and I can't retain any of that information. I find it fascinating. And I remember when I was younger, and I met a group of physicists. I was doing some work for China Support Network, what happened in Tiananmen Square, and I was organizing something there. And they were all Chinese physicists, and they were absolute geniuses within a physicist. However, I am quite emotionally plugged in, and I have high emotional intelligence. I can read a room. I can see what people are thinking and feeling, what they're emanating, also being an empath. So I found that that's where they were highly challenged. Emotionally, they could not read. They were so into that logic and logistical point of their brain that even my friends that I'd speak to, I'm like, man, you are so socially inept. I'm like, you didn't notice that girl or that guy or whatever? And they're like, what? And it's a weird scenario when you think completely opposite spectrum of somebody, and you can notice it. But I remember thinking at the time when I was 20, I thought, wow, I wish I understood these techs and what these people are doing. Because I would be in the lab and they'd be doing nickel chloride calibrations. They'd be doing all kinds of fabulous things. And I'd be like, it seemed like a crazy, insurmountable other language when I looked at the text. And I was like, this is from outer space. This is like hieroglyphs. How do they even conceive this? But in my world, how could they conceive what I was? I was like, that person is like, I could notice social snubs, and I would say to somebody like Pooja, our friend, you just snubbed that person. They weren't finished speaking. They were taking a breath, and you turned and walked away, and you'd be like, what? How do you know that? Again, social cues and clues. Could not read them because they were so in their mind calculating and all of that. So there's all these different things that happen, and I feel like now you're just going to bust out whatever strength you have. Nobody's meant to know everything, be everything, accomplish everything. You know, I would rather be an expert at 2 or 3 things and be really excellent at them, and spend my time studying, doing, and delivering really, really hardcore gold than know like 100 things semi-well, right? And why do a lot of people want to acquire knowledge in certain fields anyway? Some people, it's just so they can talk about it and preach. And we know those people, and it gets boring very quickly, right? When somebody's like, you can just be talking about history, and they're like, oh, historical fact, oh, fact. And they correct and they check and they do all this stuff. And it's not a lot of fun to be around those people. And then there are people that there are people, and I'm one of these people that truly just want to know things. I'm curious about life, but I'm super curious about other people and what they know and why it's important to them. Like, I so dig when somebody's like, oh, I know everything about Saturn, or I know everything about architecture, or you know what I mean, I know a lot and I'm interested in this, and I'm fascinated by why that's fascinating to them. Like, I love that. I feel like people have the craziest, funnest proclivities. For example, I was just out in my garden picking flowers, and I love my neighbors so much. They're so sweet. And Bob, who is really wonderful, and you know, he kind of grew up under my eyes, and he did, you know, military tours, and he's this fantastic human being. And I was just out there, and I was gathering some flowers, and I just started laughing because I just do that. I hear things and I start laughing. It's just something I do. I entertain myself. I listen to my guides and they're very comical and funny. And I was just laughing all by myself, and I stand up and I turn around and he's looking at me and he just waves. And it's just one of those things like, yeah, you're just there, right? And it's so lovely. I love catching people doing funny, strange, offbeat things. I love when people sing really loud when they're like in a park or something. Just feeling free and daring, and that's what you're going to be doing. Now, right now, it's like this thing where your roots are so strong that you can consider everybody's points of view without any judgment. You have everything you need to create your own opportunities. You feel grounded, solid in yourself. People really have pride and respect for people that just march to their own drum, or they do their own thing. They kind of, I like that like tenacity of people that are like, I'm going to do this and achieve this, and it doesn't matter what other people think or feel or say about it. I'm me, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is you truly doing you and your strongest, most robust, vitality driven self, and just feeling good and forward moving, and just F everything else. You're really in that, just that boat, and you're rowing and you're like, I'm going in my direction. I don't care. People can try to row in the different directions. I can try to poke holes in it, but I'm just going, man. And I don't care. You do you. If you're projecting negativity, you get to stay on shore because I don't need that. I'm going to set sail. It's like right now you're going to see all the sparkling, beautiful opportunities lie, and you're moving away from everything else. That's it. I feel good. I feel purposeful. I feel high on life. I feel like I'm achieving what I want, and I want to pull one of these and one of these. I had these out, and I feel like these are some of my favorite decks. Okay, so Cancer, you're feeling sympathetic, comforting, nostalgic, protective, intuitive, birthing, tender, nocturnal, moody, receptive. You're going to be highly receptive to all these energies that benefit you. Like, it's almost like you're operating like you're getting emotional uploads from other people, but in a positive way, because you are really manifesting good people and kindred spirits around you right now, where we can feel the energy, right? You ever feel the person behind you in CVS, if they're impatient and they're clicking away on their phone? You feel that energy. And you're going to be able to protect yourself from it and draw in on all the high vibe, the people singing, the people smiling, the people feeling good. And you're going to have this tendency now to completely put everybody that is negative on the back burner and really get the people that start your fire and that love you and care for you and vibe with you right in the forefront. And here is why. You're rising above the fray. Let me give you an example of, like, say, jealousy and envy. People in the fray are jealousy and envy because they're and envious. They're on a lower vibration. They think everybody else who has nice things, nice lives, love, and all of that, that there is a limitation to that they have a lack mentality. There's only so much to go around, so I have to compete with people or put them down to elevate myself. It's a low vibration, but you've climbed that spiritual ladder up into, you know what, I now have compassion for these people. I'm not going to be affected by them negatively, or I'm not going to buy into their BS. Because people that are jealous and competitive, they're ferocious, they're snapping, they're biting, they're thirsty, there's a vacuousness and an emptiness to their life, so they fuel it with putting others down to elevate themselves. And you're rising above that fray. You see with this eagle eye, I am special and I am unique and I am worthy of everything, and I can shine and sparkle wherever I go in every area of my life. My life is in balance and things come easily and effortlessly to me. And I expand what I need to feel more love and joy. And any of these things, I just feel like it's that thing of swimming with the sharks. If you're swimming with them, and do you want to be on a beautiful sailboat sailing through them? Or do you want to be out there trying to kick them and punch them in the nose and get them out of your way because they're trying to drag you down? Sail through this, be in flow state. That's what you're doing. You're not down there pecking the dirt with the turkeys. You're soaring with the eagles. You have a new perspective on life that says things come to you with ease, and that you deserve every damn beautiful thing that comes your way, and you're not going to doubt it, and you're not going to think you're behind somebody because they're getting married first or they're getting something ahead of you. Perception is everything. It's like something may look so beautiful. I always say, take Hollywood couples, for example. There are some where they can look like they have everything, the money, the family, and everything. They could fight and they could have crazy drug use. They could have a million things going on under the surface we don't know about. Yet your perception is, oh, look how beautiful that is. We should never try to guess into the lives of others what looks superficially beautiful, because nobody's going to put themselves on heroin or falling down in the gutter or screaming at a neighbor on IG, right? But they are, or Twitter, but they are going to put their their winnings, their Nobel Prizes, their Oscars, everything. You always see the wins, but you don't see the struggles. So we don't need to compare anymore. And that lets you know of that wherever you are this beautiful, like, let me take this for instance. This is a good example. Turquoise has all these veins, which when I was younger, I thought they were ugly and it looked like dirt. But then the more I got older, I thought it looked like a heart and like veins that pump into like the organ, and I found it more and more beautiful. And they're called inclusions, they're called cracks, they're called whatever. But I started to love that just as much as a smooth blue and turquoise, because that's what makes it the stone it is. Things that come from deep in the earth absorb the energy of the earth. They have that, just like our organs have all these things that transfer color, energy through it. That's what happens with turquoise, and that's what's happening with you. So anything that's happening with you, wrinkles, acne, hair loss, graying, all of that, you're this beautiful chunk of turquoise that is getting earthy and grounded and infused with this beautiful natural process of life, and really feel that and get root deep in that and feel how secure and loved you really are. Because again, everything is perception. We are what we tell ourselves. We're going where we say we're going. We're experiencing life how we say we're experiencing. We're experiencing it beautifully in flow state where we feel good, we feel free, and we feel energized, and you're going to feel yourself just expanding really beautiful. It's a very like Jupiter rich environment right now for people where they're like, I really want to try this, and I really want to go there, and I really want to seek this out, and I really want to understand this. And because of that, that's exactly what's going to happen for you. Mind, body, spirit just imploding with this new information and new energy that's necessary for your next stage, right? Everything is a stage. That's why everything's never complete. We're always cycling up, around, orbiting back, and infusing our lives with new things. And that's what's happening for you. So that's your daily pop, my beauties. Love and light.